Hi, it's Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is March 6, 2022. Before we get started, this video is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. Also, don't forget, like and subscribe. Just stop right now. Take a chance, take a moment and just go ahead and like this video, subscribe, please. Thank you. All right, let's move on. All right, so this week I tried some longs and they all got stopped out, which gave me a lot of information. And I came across this chart, which I want to just share on this video also. It's a very long-term chart and monthly. And as you can see between touches, there's years between. So I'm not saying this is going straight down to touch this line, but we do have the monthly MACD cross, which is a very bearish sign. And we do have this trend line to be aware of, as well as a 5-wave structure that may be terminating. We don't know for sure, but looks that way to me. Again, a lot of information there. Again, my state of the market on Saturdays goes over all this and much, much more. Check that out on my YouTube channel if you're interested. But stocks to watch. So I have names. You're gonna see a lot of energy names in this, like LNG, right? Beautiful move higher off of earnings, and it's got this like little flag pattern that's trying to move out of. Looks very healthy. This is the 23-day. I'm going to use that one in my videos this week, just the 23-day, to show the essence of trend. All right. EQT, another one that when you really look at it, it's coming out of this nice big base and it's starting to move higher. Good accumulation volumes on a lot of these energy names. Some of them are overdone. All right. So obviously, if it's way extended, not what you're looking for, but pullbacks, inside days or pullbacks could be the place to get long. OKE, One Oak. This one, yeah, again, breaking out of a gigantic base. PBA, you're going to see some themes. Again, is this extended? Absolutely. But you see how it's starting to consolidate here? Letting the moving average catch up. Yeah, that's really nice. Consolidating above the breakout like that. PBR. Again, giant breakout. Now a little bit of consolidation. Really like that. PXD. Again, that's the theme, right? A lot of these were overdone. They do need this pullback to make them healthy again. AR, again, these are all oil, gas, energy style names. This one hasn't even pulled back yet, but they all could. CLR. Again, here's just a lot of names that are just holding up and looking really good. CENX, has not broken out yet, but it is extended. Wait for maybe one more pullback, maybe to the $17, 17.10-ish, and then the breakout. That'd be really bullish. Again, but you're seeing lots of accumulation on all of these charts, right? Everyone wants to be in these. Matador, MTDR, beautiful breakout. Again, it's extended. Wait for the pullback, but looks good. MUR, just one more after this. Broke out, looking fantastic, way extended. And RRC, Range Resource. Yeah, I mean, just broke out of here, came back, retested, and now it looks like it wants to move higher. All right, so those were all energy names, and then we also have some oil and gas names. I'm sorry, some mining and that type of stuff. Alcoa. Let's go to weekly on this one just to see how significant this area is. That's very significant, right? CENX. CENX. Right there, giant move this past week. Obviously, it's extended, but wait for the pullback, and this may be something to look at. FCX breaking out again. It is extended. Wait for the pullback. I think that'll be the theme this week. Wait for the pullback, but get into strong stocks, and that's what I'm trying to highlight. Just the strongest stocks I can find. TECK Resources looks beautiful. VALE hasn't quite broken out yet, but is extended. It's got dividend coming up. STLD, Steel Dynamics, a lot of steel names are looking good, going straight up. Shipping, KEX, KEX, again, looks really good, trying to break out of this base area. Giant accumulation. IRT, it's a REIT. Breaking out of this, maybe a slower mover, but again, people are starting to jump into these REITs. GFI, some gold mining names, right? And going back a little further, let's go weekly here because it's hard to see. Yeah, I mean, that is a major breakout that's brewing if it can get above, $17 or so. That's a big deal, right? GFI. What else we got here? PVG, another gold miner. Again, strongest stocks. That's what I'm trying to show you guys. Broke out, kind of razzle dazzle a little bit over here, and now it's trying to move higher. SSRM. I mean, beautiful kind of cup and handle look to it, gigantic, obviously. The pattern is unmistakable, and it broke this downtrend line. Now this horizontal support is trying to break. Lots going on there. SSRM, not a lot to like there. What else? WLK. Again, more gold miners and metals mining producing, but this looks pretty good here. Not as good on the volume side, but the price pattern is unmistakable. And SBSW, Sibane Stillwater. Look at this one. Thing of beauty, right? Looks fantastic. I'm trying to move higher out of this. Nice little cup and handle-ish look to it. All right. So lots to like there. That was what I had for you today. So you can see the themes, right? And I want to just go over a few from last week, so just so you realize, like last week, things that I had on last week's list, on this week's too, though, things like TECK, right? Things like I'm just going over VALE, right? CENX. I mean, just giant moves this past week, and they're things like HP and the oil and gas names, just giant moves, right? BTU was on my list last week, right? Giant moves. We've had some of the same, and again, not everyone moves like this. I put Datadog on there last week as a potential in the tech space. I've pretty much given up on any growth names. I put Kim on there as a REIT last week, and it really hasn't done much. Still doesn't look bad, but still hasn't done much though. So not all of them move like that, but many of them did. So it brings me to this week. I'm bringing back the top 5 this week, right? So here's my top 5. I like LNG a lot. Let's go to weekly charts here. And I think I'm going to go weekly charts with my top 5 because I think longer term views in this type of market are going to be necessary. So I think the chop is going to be insane. Okay. So here's the weekly chart of LNG. All right. That is a major breakout that's literally just starting. So I think that this is something that we need to be part of, right? Again, doesn't mean enter it at this moment. Find your spots, right? Maybe on the daily time frame, find your spot, but it looks good. OKE. Again, a major breakout. Again, this is just breaking out on great volume. Find your spot and why not be a part of this, right? That's what's going up. Again, this past week, I got chopped up a little bit and I was annoyed. And really when it comes down to it, just buy stuff going up. That's the theme, right? Buy stuff going from the bottom left to the top right. Another one for this week is PXD, right? Just a beautiful, 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 breakout right here, right? And then last one, not last one, PVG and the gold miners. This one looks really good, right? Big area broke out, consolidated, and now it's going to try to break out again. Again, looks fantastic. It's PVG. And the last one is SBSW. Again, this is as good of a cup and handle-ish pattern that you're going to see with the breakout on gigantic volume, right? Like if you want one chart, this may be my favorite chart. I think Stella said that this is what the one she wants to be in this week. Stella's my dog, just so you know. All right, so that is what I have as far as stocks to watch. But I'm going to take this a little further this week because, in my opinion, there's a lot of risk, not risk, well, there's risk, but in single names. Again, in something like this, I want to be involved in a single name that looks like this. I can definitely manage risk. But let's talk about the themes of the week, okay? So I'm going to talk about ETFs now. And the first one is going to be energy, right? Energy has been a theme. And here's XLE. And here's the portfolio for the top 10 of XLE. You see the weighting right here. And as you can see, it has a lot of names that we talked about. And I think just buying the XLE here makes sense, right? But then you could also go to XOP, which is the producers and explorers, right? And you see that that's breaking out. So what's in XOP? And as you can see, it is a lot of the names that that we talked about. There's PBF there, and there's other names in here that look just fantastic also and have been moving up. But maybe we're too extended for my video. And you see it's more of an equal weighted portfolio. All right. So just being involved in XOP gives you broad exposure to many of those names that we talked about. OIH is the oil services group. And again, this one looks even better. I mean, look at this breaking out right here. Just fantastic. And when you look at OIH, you know, you're talking about, you know, Schlumberger, Halliburton, Baker Hughes, HP, which already moved a lot. A lot of these all have moved and probably have a lot less in a lot more in the tank, but you have that, you don't have that single stock risk. So you're going to participate in the upside and you're not worried about earnings. You're not worried about any of that. It pays a dividend, I'm sure, whatever the cumulative dividend is, looks great. You know, metals and mining was another theme this week. You saw TECK and FCX and VALE and all of them. So when you look at the metal mining, which is XME, I mean, what are you seeing? You're seeing the coal names in there, which was, you know, BTU and Arch in there. There's your Alcoa, there's CENX, right? There is a ton. There's some steel names in here. There's United States Steel X, Heckler Mining, some gold names, right? Steel Dynamics, Freeport. So I don't think that it's a bad place to say, okay, I'm just going to buy the ETF and get a piece of everything. And this one's weighted, right? I think that may be a good idea. You know, let's look at steel names. SLX is the ETF for that. And the ETF looks amazing, right? Looks like it wants to break out. And then looking at the steel names, which is SLX right here, what do you see? There's your VALE, Rio Tinto, Nucor, you know, MT. There's a little bit of more steel, obviously, in the ETF X. You know, again, the resources, Steel Dynamics is in this one. So lots of names that, you know, we talked about. And again, broad exposure with a weighted ETF. Near the top, there's potentially less risk. And again, you get to be in the upside and maybe stay in the name, and it gyrates a little bit less and cuts you up a little bit less. You know, speaking of gold, GDX, right? The gold miners. Let's look at, you know, just looking here, breakout, it's a retest, and now it's moving higher, right? Well, what's in there? You know, there's Newmont Mining, there's Barrick Gold, you know, Wheaton Precious Metals, you know, Royal Gold, Kinross, Pan American Silver, you know, I mean, there's SSRM in there, Heckler Mining. So there's some crossover between these, right? We saw a little bit of crossover. That's okay, because they're all going up. And that's, I think, the most important thing. Buy things that are going up. You know, technology maybe gets a bounce this week, maybe it doesn't. It's in a longer term downtrend. These are in longer term uptrends. So switching to weekly charts, if that you're inclined to do so, it's just a suggestion, something I'm thinking about doing with this type of look to it right here, makes a lot of sense to me. Again, it's a great looking pattern coming out of here on all these ETFs. And if you want broad exposure to a lot of these names, you know, you're probably not going to get, you know, the, you know, 50, 100% moves, but but you're not going to get beat up either. And I think that's important. Saving your mental capital as well as your equity curve, I think, is really, really important. Again, individual names, you know what? You grab any of these individual names and they're probably going to do very well for you. Again, but then you do have a single stock risk in a lot of these. And so ETF may be the way to go. So there are some suggested top 5 ETFs. And the last piece I'm going to leave you with is gold. Weekly chart. You just want to buy physical gold, just buy gold, right? This chart is very impressive. And I'm going to take off this question mark here because I think that there's no longer a question about what's going on in gold. Very impressive looking chart. Big 10-year base that this is starting to come out of. Gold is moving higher, and you can just buy gold and be done with it. It's going to move a little bit slower, but you're not going to get chopped up that much. All right, so there you go. I gave you about 25 names or so, gave you my top 5, showed you last week some names that really, really took off, and then talked to you guys about ETFs and maybe move into a weekly chart and looking at ETFs and playing off the weekly, especially in this type of environment, may make sense. All right. Hope you like this. Hope you got something out of this video. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you thought. Tell me if I missed something or if you think I'm totally off my rocker. I like the comments. I try to respond to all of them. And again, if you haven't seen my YouTube channel, go ahead and like and subscribe to that. I add videos and stuff also on Twitter at AlphaCharts365. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe out there. Hope you have a good week. Bye.